Hello and welcome to another yoga studio. I am Kat. For those of you who haven't joined me, whether for a class or a chat like this before, and it is lovely to see you and have you joining me today for a short chat about building and creating your home practice. So I know a lot of people will think of themselves as kind of thinking, will I go out to classes? Do I need to do anything else? Maybe actually you're a runner or a swimmer, so you don't get to go to classes because most of your sort of formal time where you go out and do things is with groups doing things like that. So this is about how you can start to create something on your own at home to back up all the other things that you are doing, or maybe you are just starting from scratch. You're unable to get to a class for whatever reason and you want to build something on your own at home without any of that kind of outside input. So of course there are lots and lots of things that you can find to do here on YouTube. I've got all of my stuff, so obviously I am not saying don't go and use all those other things. Use them, particularly if you are starting to you're looking to start something on your own and you've got no idea where to go, what to do. Find those videos, find things that you like doing and build them into your home practice. But what we want to try and do is find some time when actually you don't have a teacher or an instructor in front of you and you're looking to create something on your own. So an important thing to remember about home practice is that it's a practice. It is something that we are always working on, we're always building on, and it never finishes. There is always somewhere to go. And it's yours. It's your practice, it's your self-care time. So when you're thinking about what you're going to do, what do you want to get out of it? Is there a long-term goal? Are you trying to get stronger? Do you want to get more mobile, more flexible? Are you looking at something that will help you feel more relaxed? So think about what your long-term goal is, and it doesn't have to be 10 years time. It could be 3 months. There just might be something overall that you're looking to improve. So that then is going to become a key component of what sort of things you're going to be doing on your own at home. The next thing to think about is, how do you feel on the day when you're going to do your practice? You don't have to do the same things all the time. Repetition, yes, it is important. I mean, for example, if you want to improve your flexibility in your hamstrings and you stretch your hamstrings once a week and then you spend the rest of your time doing weights with your arms, you're not going to get that much more flexible in your hamstrings. So repetition is important, but there are lots of different ways of working our strength, our flexibility in certain areas and through the whole body. So you don't have to just do the same one stretch, one exercise every time to get benefit. So it might be that actually you're going to have a nice mix of things. You might do a bit of strength work, you might do a bit of flexibility work. Maybe there's days when actually you want to get outside and your home practice is having a walk, a run, a bicycle ride. All of those things can be included in your self-care, in your home practice. And don't think you have to do it in one slot. Maybe you go for a walk in the morning and then in the evening you kind of do more of a practice thing where you get your mat out and you do some strength or flexibility work. So split it up. It doesn't have to be all in one session, and have variety. And remember that when you're thinking about self-care, self-practice, what we want to do at home practice is create a full sort of rounded exercise, health sort of routine. So there's going to be a bit of cardio in there, there's going to be some strength work, some mobility, flexibility work, and maybe a little bit of time spent on where you improve balance and things like that as well. A lot of that might come from your other activities. If you belong to a running club or a swimming club, or you go to a circuits class where you're getting your heart rate up and going, you might not need to worry about any of those things, and your time and your self-care, your home practice is about perhaps working on your flexibility and feeling a little bit looser in the body. So it's about weighing up, getting that balance between everything that you do. And of course, if you've been injured, if you're working with a physio, your self-care, your home practice time might actually just be doing your rehab work. So you don't have to be doing a formal yoga thing to be doing practice. It could be your rehab work as well. So some examples of things that we've already mentioned, it's walking, running, biking, swimming. Maybe you're feeling like you need a strength session, and that could be formal with weights. Maybe you've got some hand weights or something like that. Maybe it's using your own body weight, because that's very valuable as well. And then maybe it is doing that flexibility work, mobility work, where you're looking to move more fluidly through the body, maybe hold some stretches. And then finally, it could be on that particular day, you feel like a really gentle session, quiet session. Maybe you're going to focus a bit more on some mindfulness, some meditation. Your practice doesn't have to be moving and stretching and using the body all out all the time. Cueing in and noticing those days when you want to be just that little bit quieter and take it easy on yourself and just lie on the floor is completely valid. So what might you need for your home practice? Well, of course, obviously it's going to depend on what you're going to do. If you're looking for strength work, then maybe getting some little hand weights or other things that you can use to help you create some resistance, like bands, if they're about stretchy bands, it could be good. Maybe your home practice is going to include some self-massage time in it. So foam rollers, tennis balls, spiky balls, all of those sorts of things are going to be useful there. And then other props like straps, cushions, blankets to make you feel comfortable when you want those quiet, relaxed sessions, or maybe just for when you finish an end of a practice and you're going to have a little bit of relaxation at the end. So what might your practice look like? Well, whatever it is, whether you are going to go for a run, whether you're going to do some gentle stretching work, you need to just get your mind, your body and your breath ready for your session. So if you're going for a run or a walk, there's going to be a bit of a warm-up time. You ease yourself into your activity. Maybe you're going to do some dynamic stretching before you're running, getting your joints and your muscles feeling ready to go, getting your mind switched on, starting to build that heart rate up, ready for that effort part. Maybe if actually you're just going to go for some softer, more flexible work, perhaps particularly if you've been sat at a desk, for example, all day, you might need to just give yourself some little bit of gentle movement, some bit of wriggling, moving of the joints, just to kind of help make the body feel a little bit more fluid, more mobile before you then come into that stretching work. So there is going to be a preparation or a warm-up phase to the start of your session. And then there's going to be that key component. It's going to be that time you spend working on your strength. It's going to be that flexibility part. Maybe it's a more rounded session. Maybe you're doing strength and flexibility, or maybe it's that cardio session where you go outside and you enjoy the sunshine and being out in the elements for a bit. And then we're going to look at a bit of a wind down where you just kind of send a signal, a key to the body, the mind, that this is the end of my session now. So maybe it's just coming back and having a brief stretch, a brief little bit of movement, just to shake the body, help it feel more relaxed after being outside and doing an activity out there. Maybe it's giving a bit of a stretch, a bit of loosening up after some strength work, or maybe you're actually going to come down and finish with some sort of relaxation or breath work to end your session. So thinking about warming up, preparing yourself for what you're doing, then having that key session. And again, if you are meditating, jumping around a little bit here, but even if you're meditating, there is going to be a time at the start where your brain has to your mind has to get into that mode of, okay, I'm calming down, I'm being mindful. And then as you come out of your meditation, you might want to keep that nice relaxed feeling, but we're going to have to switch ourselves on a little bit to move on with our day. So even though that real quiet self-practice time is going to need some preparation, you have the key component, and then the signals where you tell your body, your mind that you're coming out of your session, and you just kind of set yourself up for the rest of the day. So that's kind of like a general look at different types of sessions, and then of what your home care, your self-care, self-practice, home practice might look like. If you're just looking for like a general all-round yoga or Pilates practice to do, then we're going to be looking at an all-round body type workout. Now, of course, it might be that you know you specifically need to work on your shoulders, you are specifically looking at your hips, your hamstrings, your legs. So the exercises that you do are going to primarily focus on those areas of the body. But if you're looking for a general all-round session, then we're going to be looking at maybe starting with a little bit of mobilization, like your cat stretch, some shoulder rolls, some hip circles to get the body moving, but then coming into some sun salutations before moving into leg work, like warriors, balances. There's going to be some work for the back of the body, normally where we're laying face down on the floor and we're lifting the chest up. Going to be some core work, some plank maybe, some leg raises, your boat pose where you're kind of sitting in that V shape. And then looking to maybe do some forward fold work towards the end, stretching for the hips and the shoulders and the legs before coming into a relaxation phase at the end of your session. And even if that is just lying on the floor for 5 breaths before you move off your mat. Because obviously the shorter the session, then the less you're going to want to spend on your relaxation. If you're looking at a more stretchy and a less active yoga class, again, you're probably going to want to just do a little bit of mobilization work just to help the body feel a little bit more fluid before you then come into some stretching. And if you're looking at the all-round stretching, think of stretching through the front of the body, which is going to be those sort of lying down on your front, opening the chest up type exercises, some lying on the back, maybe doing some twisting there, seated work where you're perhaps working on your hips, your thighs, your legs to help stretch those out, some folds, some butterflies, those kind of things. Before again, looking to just finish with a little bit of relaxation work. And your Pilates is going to be exactly the same. Think of that mixture, the exercises you do when you're lying down, your swan dives, your leg kicks, your planks, abdominal work where you're laying on your back with your scissors and your leg lifts, before coming up and doing some seated work where you're doing more rotations and spine stretches. So you're looking again to think of working and strengthening through the front of the body, the back of the body, and then what can you do to get in to the side of the body. If you want specific exercises, then obviously go and check my YouTube videos out, find those other teachers out there with all of their amazing exercises and classes that you can do to get ideas of how you're going to create those all body or specific body areas that you want to work on to help create your own practice. So it might be that to start with, you're going to need to spend more time working with the videos and that are available online, or maybe even go and see a teacher privately to get them to help you with some ideas before you build it up. If you've been going to classes for a while, then you'll have that information in there in your head, and it's just about maybe putting it down on a piece of paper before you start, so you've got a little list, so you're not laying under the mat going, what do I do? But just finding your way through some little bit of general work if that's what you're aiming to do, or obviously body specific stretching poses, exercises. And then finishing, like I say, with a bit of relaxation, all of which, of course, we're using our breath as well. Finally then, last little note before I sign off, all our home practice needs to be regular. It's finding those slots in the day, whether it's getting up first thing in the morning, doing something as soon as you finish work and you get home, or maybe kind of making it a regular thing where you do something in the middle of the morning, whether it's going out for that walk, like I say, or getting your mat out and doing your weight work. So keep it regular. Your home practice is a full, long line of practice. It's never really going to end. So the easier it is to slot into your diary and make a regular thing. And it doesn't have to be the same time every day, because obviously all of our diaries, our lives can chop and change. But it's just keeping in contact with yourself, your exercise, your self-care, your home practice, and keeping it regular. So it might be twice a week, it might be 3 times a week, it might be every day. But just keep that regular practice of when you're going to do it through your week. And if you have to miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Just make sure you do your next practice. And there are going to be setbacks. You're going to be injured. You're going to be ill. There are going to be times when you need to change what you're doing. If you're injured, maybe you can't do a full practice. Maybe it's just going to be some gentle stretching or some upper body work if it's a lower body injury, for example. If you're poorly and you really don't feel like doing anything other than lying on the bed and the sofa, then that's fine. But when you start to feel better, you're able to then make that conscious effort of getting back into that routine, even if it is a case of just starting very easily, very gently, just rolling the mat out and lying in it, and then slowly, as you start to feel better, you'll be able to build that practice back up again. So remember, practice, regular. There are key words for today, and just making sure that your practice suits what you need on the day and any long-term goal that you're trying to work on. Well, I hope that was useful. If it was, or if you've got any comments or questions, leave a thumbs up, or leave a question below. And then make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can join me for a video and get some ideas of things that you can do in your own home practice in your own time on another day. All right, take care now. Bye.